Hey everyone, welcome to Judging for the Win. I'm Dave, and this is my daily ruling. Amy attacks with grizzly bears, and Nick calls for a judge. When you get to the table, Nick explains that he played Obzedat a few turns ago, and only now realized that he forgot to bring it back after he exiled it at the end of his first turn. Amy agrees with everything Nick says, and when you ask her if she noticed this error, she admits that she did. However, Obzedat is a very difficult card for her deck to beat, so she didn't say anything in the hopes that she would be able to win the game before Nick realized. What is the appropriate infraction, penalty, and fix? Alright, so the first thing that we want to do in order to determine what the correct infraction is we have to identify at what point in time the first instance of someone doing something that was against the rules is. In this case, that would be when Nick did not put the triggered ability that returns Obzedat onto the stack at the appropriate time. This would be a missed trigger based on the description given in the IPG. Ordinarily, the penalty for a missed trigger is based on whether the triggered ability that was missed is generally considered to be detrimental to its controller. Of course, returning Obzedat to the battlefield is not generally detrimental for Nick, and so therefore, Nick will not get a warning for this one. For her part, Amy will not be getting any penalty. That's because she didn't commit any infraction. While her actions may be a little bit morally questionable, as far as the rules of Magic are concerned, they're entirely within the rules. That's because, ordinarily, if you see your opponent do something against the rules in a game, you're obligated to call for a judge. However, this is not the case if the thing your opponent did was miss a triggered ability. In these cases, you may or may not call attention to the mistake at your discretion. Therefore, Amy is entirely within her rights to not call for a judge here, and because she did not do anything against the rules, there is no infraction and no penalty for her. Now for the fix. Ordinarily, if you miss a triggered ability and it's caught within a turn of when it should have happened, your opponent will get the choice of whether to put it on the stack now or just leave it be missed forever. If the triggered ability should have happened before then there is no choice and it'll just be missed forever. I said normally because this type of triggered ability that Obzedat has special handling in the IPG. It's a delayed triggered ability, which means that it got set up at one point in time and only triggered and went on the stack at some later point in time, and it undoes a zone change, in this case, the exiling of Obzedat from the battlefield. This means that since this triggered ability falls under this specific category, no matter how many turns have passed in the game since when it should have happened, the triggered ability will be put on the stack and resolve. The only choice Amy gets is when that happens. Amy may have made attacking decisions or other game action decisions based on Obzedat not being on the battlefield. In order to mitigate the advantage that Nick gets from putting the Obzedat back into play, Amy has the choice of whether to put it back into play at this time or at the beginning of the next phase. Amy probably will want to do the latter because otherwise her grizzly bears will be getting blocked by a 5/5, and that's probably not what she was planning on having happen. A lot of the time, I think about how regular rel and competitive rel should be different. In this case, though, I think that the solution is exactly the same. If I saw this happening at regular rel, I would not have any issue using this exact same fix. I think it's important that a player should not be getting a super big feels bad of losing their potentially important creature forever just because they missed one triggered ability. And, especially the case at regular rel, it should not be a harsher penalty than what you would have got at competitive rel by making you miss it forever. Also, I think it is important, for the reasons stated before, that Amy should get the choice of when the creature gets brought back onto the battlefield, because again, she might have made game decisions based on it being or not being in a certain zone. So in this case, I think I'm 100% behind using exactly the same fix as what we would do in competitive rel if this situation happened at regular rel event. And that's all I have for you today. How did you do? Join me again tomorrow for another daily ruling, but until then, I hope you have a great day.